Is Shaq's criticism of the money players are making now fair or foul? Goodness.
Oh, it is so foul, Marcellus. And I hate to be in this position because I'm a big Shaquille O'Neal fan. But this is wrong on so many levels. First of all, that he's mad at the current players for what they're making. You don't think that the generation before Shaq wasn't mad at the money that Shaq's generation is making? Right. And the idea that somehow his opinion on that should be colored, like that it's understandable or fair or right that his opinion on current players should be affected by how much they make. He, as Antoine, I'm sure you know this. Marcellus, you know this. Any professional athlete knows this. Like, look, you're going to fault a player for making the money that he makes? He's not holding a gun to the team's head to say, pay me this. They make that choice. It's a two-way street. Now, if a dude's not working on his game, okay, that's one thing that opens it up for criticism. But if he gets paid a certain amount, it's because the team paying him believes he is worth that amount. And so it's on them as much as him to make good on that. And Shaq is throwing all of that to the side. So, look, now it's suddenly we're okay with being petty. Like, petty is almost, because what Steph said it, like, I'm the petty king. Now it's a good thing to be petty. No, you don't. You're not petty. It's certainly when you have a platform that Shaquille O'Neal has and the ability to talk about other players and what they're doing. Don't bring the money factor into it. Let's judge based on, especially if you're talking generation to generation, because every generation has made more as a result of the previous generation. That's just the way it's been. That's the way it's gone in every field. So why are we going to take exception that the game has been good to players in today's world?
Rick, we don't agree much on a lot of things, but I do have to agree with you on this one. This is foul by Shaq. You don't really get into the money part of things, and he should actually be proud of what these guys are making, what you just alluded to, because he's played a part in the reason why these guys are making the money that they're making right now. And I'm actually surprised at Shaq, because Shaq is one of my favorite people in the world. He's one of the best teammates I ever had in the world. So I don't think Shaq is jealous of these guys. I think Shaq has been too blessed and too fortunate on and off the court for him to be jealous. I think he was just defending, Charles at that moment when KD made the comment that Charles was jealous that, obviously they're not making the same money that these guys are making now. But I sit at home sometimes and be like, watching TV and be like, man, if I played in this era, I could have made, and I made over $100 million playing. I'm blessed to be able to make it. But I was like, man, I could have maybe another $100 million because the way the game is played now. And I think it is something that I think is not petty, Rick. I think it's a lot of guys that feel that way. I look at Michael Jordan. I think he ran his team at one point, not wanting to pay these young guys their market value. That's why he's probably never had a superstar really there. Prior to now, he's starting to spend some money because he has to. But it's those older guys they do hold a grudge for some odd reason. But you shouldn't do that. These guys you paid the way. I was a basketball fan, a basketball junkie, and I remember when the games were on tape delay. And Michael and Magic and Bird came into the league and put the games on live TV. So you got to pay respects to those guys and respect what the work they've done. And I think young guys need to understand that and maybe pay a little bit more homage to it. But you can't be jealous of what these guys are making. This is everybody's contributed to that and made this possible for the money to be where it's at right now.
Yeah, man, let me echo it and let me maybe say it a little louder. Shaq, old school, man, this is foul. And when you old school, you should know the old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. And this is how the game is, and this is how the game should be. Oh, Shaq got this one wrong. And I hope he was saying it tongue-in-cheek, even though he's a great actor and knows how to say it still and come down hard on you. I hope he didn't really mean this, because you should be happy, proud that the inflation and the growth of the game came from players standing on your shoulders, just like Shaq was able to stand on players' shoulders before him. Here's an example. Michael Jordan, his career earnings, $93 million. Shaquille O'Neal, who's an amazing player, top 10 player himself, $286 million. Wait a minute. That's how the game goes. I got example after example. I could bore you. But let me personalize it, man. I remember when I got my big check. It wasn't no $100 million like you, Antoine. Good Lord, I played a different sport. But the thing is, I got me a big check. And I remember two players that called me, and one of them we talked extensively about it. I played DN. I get a bigger check than Bruce Smith ever got. And that was Bruce Smith, the greatest defensive end of all time, my teammate. He was like, I'm happy for you, young man. Now, obviously, we laughed and chuckled like, damn, I wish my birth certificate was the same as yours, because then Bruce would have made more than I made. But then when I received that check, I talked to Junior Seau, the late, great Junior Seau. And he was like, my goodness, don't spend it all in one place without one sour grape to discuss. And the crazy thing about it was, I wasn't half as good as either one of those players. But I was good enough later, and that's how it goes in terms of the inflation. I think Shaq knows this. Hopefully he was joking, because old school got to know. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
This is the other part for Shaq and for Chuck in particular, is how are they making money? How are they generating money now? It's off the game today. It's off the fact that we have stars that are making hundreds of millions of dollars that raises their profile, which then raises the profile of everybody who's covering the league. So in a way, Shaq is benefiting off of what these players are doing today and how they are regarded in the big picture. There's only one player that I think of that I believe has reason, if he ever wanted to, and maybe he has, to be critical and to say, man, you know what? I didn't get what I deserved. And that is Oscar Robertson. Because Oscar Robertson is the one who created, who was the one of the founding fathers of the Players Union. With an all-star game, they were in at halftime, and he said, we're not coming out unless the league agrees. We're not coming out for the second half unless the league agrees to the Players Union. And as a result of being the guy who forced that to happen, Oscar Robertson, in the eyes of many, was blackballed by the league ever since. Didn't get the broadcasting TV opportunities, didn't get GM, all of that stuff, because of what the sacrifice that he made or the thing that he created that has created everything for every player since then. So if Oscar wants to talk about, man, I didn't get what I deserve based on what I provided for everybody else, I got no problem with Oscar. But everybody else, you're a beneficiary of what the Big O started, and you, if he's not going to complain, you certainly can't.
And I think, too, to add to that, I think what the older guys really criticize is that we had back in the day, and I would even put my generation in there, you had to put up numbers to get a big deal. Like, you know, you had to be a 20 and 10 guy. You had to be one of the top players at your position. Where now you see guys are getting paid off potential. And I think that's what bothers a lot of the older players now, where the body of work doesn't match sometimes the paycheck. But it's unfortunate, but the league is where it's at now. You didn't have salary caps. You didn't have the money that you're making now. The guys can be able to sign deals early on. And so the potential payments, I think when you see guys getting paid off the potential, really hurts the veteran guys that see this. And that's where the complaining comes in and the hating comes and the foul play and comments come in. That is because of that. You know, I don't think they get mad so much at the big-time guys getting the money. But I think when you see these a little bit above average guys.
Here we go.
You know, getting
the inner Shaq coming out.
Did they have the rookie salary scale when you got in the league?
Thank you.
Yeah, 3 years, 5.5 at that 6 spot, Rick. That's what I made. They locked me in early.
Okay.
They locked me in early.
Because that turned things. Because prior to that, dude, you talk about guys getting paid on potential. Guys were getting $60, $70 million, and they'd never even stepped on an NBA court before. So, though I would say the veterans during that age, prior to the rookie salary scale, that were having their paychecks trimmed because of that, those guys might have something to complain about ahead of what Shaq certainly did.
Oh, man, it's just hate. That's all it is. No matter how we dress it up, it's hate. Y'all can have all these
Counting
examples.
somebody else's money.
I know, you hating. That's all it is. It's funny because Joey Bosa got paid 5 years, 135, and then somebody hit me with a stat like, Marcellus, you know in your first 3 years started, you had more sacks than he did. And I felt a certain way, but I never felt jealous, and I didn't feel the hate.
Yeah.
But I do understand that birth certificate helped him like it helped me. So it is what it is. But I got to push back a little bit on Twan. Since sports began, they always pay you for two reasons. Because of your production or because of your potential. Like, that's how you get paid. It's almost like we're looking for the unicorns out there, the Antoine Walkers, the 20 and 10 guys. But we're also looking for those startups. Like, oh, these guys, hey, right now they look like they could be something. And they will invest in them. I remember the NFL, and Sam Bradford, I think, was the last beneficiary of that rookie, before the rookie wage scale, when he got like $50 million straight out of college. And then all the Shaquille O'Neals in the NFL start saying, hey, enough of that. Can't let this dude get all that money before he touches the field. I hear you, man, but we just dressing up hate. Leave him alone, Shaq. That dude rich. Come